This streams live and may discuss topics including mental health, addiction, depression, its treatment and other similar subjects that can be triggering or worrying to some people. If you may be negatively affected by this or you're at all uncomfortable with the subjects, please switch away now. You can always come back to watch it at another time. This show is also not suitable for children. As always, parental guidance should be applied.
Inside the tempo, yeah. Mr. Wiggly, I do stick, yo. Hey, step inside, I give thanks and the highest praise. Ground myself to my earth, connect out the space.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. A quiet start to today's show because it looks like Ollie's internet connection has failed. So I'm just going to chill here just for a little bit, see how things go. Good evening to you, Grey One FPV. Lovely to see you. Definitely a very quiet start to this one. We've been off there on the Sunday show for a couple of weeks, about 4 actually, which has been quite exciting to have a little break. And not much kind of pushing of this evening show. Last week was really good with Rebecca Radical though. So it's good to see a few people still around, which is good. Sunday show will be on again as usual. I have a few extra camera angles going here. I tell you what, it's cold in here today. Normally, I'm kept warm by the heat from a nice warm modular, but obviously we can't afford to switch anything on anymore these days. So I thought, I'll just turn the radiators on, and they didn't come on. So I don't really know what to say about that. Good evening, Grey One FPV, as I said. Hey, Electronic Sounds Audio. Hey, Will Joseph. Good to see you too. Hopefully we'll be joined by a few more people. But I guess if Ollie can't join us, I've got a chat window open with him. And I just need to check on his postcode and the wonderful Virgin Media to see if they've got a known issue. So let me just do that. Otherwise, I'll be chatting for a little bit. And we might postpone until tomorrow. But let's just see how it goes whilst we're waiting. I'll just type this in and just check on they've got a service status. Hold on. Just bear with me. Hopefully it won't say bill outstanding or something. Oh, Ollie, if you are watching, I'm just going to message you back. It says no issues, which is a bit strange. Which is a weird one. So I can report it for you if you want. Let's say still having issues with the broadband test. Okay, I'm running a test on his line, which is kind of cool. Sure, we could test with everyone. How is everybody? This may be a slightly strange stream. We were going to talk about, I think we were going to talk about phobias, which were mentioned a little bit last time, which aren't necessarily to do with addiction and recovery and mental health so much. And I mean phobias as in, well, I guess my definition of a phobia would be an irrational fear of something. Obviously, we would all fear of guns or something or explosives is not an irrational fear because it's something that you would be frightened of. But yes, a fear of spiders is an obvious one, clowns, I suppose. And it's triggered because Ollie has an irrational fear. Ollie has a fear of injections and needles, like proper, like, you know, a proper one. That means that he will just completely faint or pass out or run. And he has an injection a blood test or something coming up tomorrow, and he's known about it for about a week. And so this irrational fear has been preoccupying most of his mind, I think. So we were going to chat about that. Yes, Grey One FPV is always a little strange in here. Welcome. If you've missed the beginning, we're just checking on Ollie's broadband connection, which looks like it's not going to resurrect itself. He's going to restart and then get the multimeter out. Let me just check on this. All right, it says looks like you need to reboot the hub, so we shall see. Hey Bob, thank you for joining. Good to see you. Yeah, so irrational fears. And I found out that I have a few fears. I had a fear of hospitals, which kind of I overcame when my daughter was born, because she was born fine, you know, we didn't have to go into intensive care or anything, but we spent quite a lot of time in and out of hospitals. And having gone through that process, having been in the delivery room and watched kind of operations and stuff, I seem to have overcome that. I used to have a complete fear of it though. And also the sight of my own blood. I'm a little bit like Ollie in that I don't mind other people's blood, but my own blood makes me feel really queasy. I wouldn't say it's a fear, it's probably more of a sickness. But interestingly, I found out that my dad had the same phobias. He's passed away now, but I didn't know my dad that well, certainly after about the age of 8 or 9 when my folks split up, and I didn't spend that much time with him until much later on in his life. And then I noticed quite a few little quirks that I had that were the same as his, which is just really weird. So mannerisms and stuff, which are obviously genetic because I wouldn't have picked them up from him. And one of those was a fear of hospitals and blood. So I'm thinking there might be a little bit of genetics involved. But my dad was very ill apparently when he was a child, and he had what did he have? Something. Might have been septicemia or something, blood poisoning or something like that when he was young, and he spent a long time in hospital. And as part of this whole thing, he actually lost the hearing in one ear. And I'd always thought that, I'd assumed that, you know, a fear of hospitals or whatever would have come from that rather than being genetic. But it seems that I inherited that particular trait. But without Ollie to tell us about his own phobias, who knows? Clowns is an interesting one though. I have a friend who's absolutely phobic about clowns. Like a picture pops up on TV or something, and it'll be like, ah! And they do look a bit creepy, but I don't know. I did a quick survey of the people around here, my family, and Luna Mays doesn't like bugs. She doesn't like flies or flying things, bugs, anything like that. And Sophia, my wife, what did she? Oh, heights. She doesn't like heights, which I can kind of get. But like heights, even if you're on a kind of first floor balcony, is a bit too much. So I don't know if anyone in the chat can interfere with my monologue, tell me of their phobias. Sorry to be filling the gap. We'll wait a little bit longer for Oliver's reboot. Thanks to anyone who happened to watch Sonic State last week as well. This time last week when I managed to take over the show, it seemed to go really well. It's good to see Nick back, but his mum passed sadly this week, which is going to be pretty hard. So he was back in the seat again today, but obviously that's quite a hard thing to take. I think I might grow a beard. Actually, I don't think it looks that good, to be honest, does it? It makes me look older, I think. Fear of clouds. Clowns, are they being serious? Very good. Very good. Very, very good. I think apart from blood, I'll tell you what I really can't stand is the noise of a mosquito in your ear. That tiny little... kind of fading in and out. I don't know if that's a phobia or just it completely drives me nuts and has me kind of running around the room trying to find it. Especially if you're asleep and you're... Oh, nothing back from Ollie yet. I presume he's rebooting. Don't know if anyone else is on Virgin. Broadband, that is. We have some music courtesy of Lo-Fi Girl, which is my number one go-to lo-fi. You're allowed to stream it on YouTube, which is great. Really nice, kind of relaxing stuff. Dentists. Yeah, I can see that. Now, I don't know if that's a phobia. Dentists generally kind of involves some kind of pain. Dentists are one of those professions that I think will radically change over the next few years. I think you may get preventative dentistry rather than repairing type dentistry. Do you know what I mean? I think fillings and stuff will become a thing of the past. Not because we're eating less sugar or taking better care of ourselves, but I think you'll probably be able to coat your teeth with a certain kind of substance or something that will prevent a lot of the problems that you can get being attacked by the acid in food. I think that's probably one of those things that technology will turn it more into a kind of cosmetic dentistry than anything else, which would be nice. More the anticipation of pain. Yeah, a bit late for me. Half God, half beast too. Hey 10 mil, thank you for joining. When you wake up mid-op with 3 people sitting on you, that could be a phobia. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they with Luna May, my daughter, they put a coating on her teeth, which I don't know. It protects, during childhood. I think a little bit more than just brushing, and I kind of think that's probably one of the major ways forward. And hopefully things like cancer treatment, so things like radiotherapy and chemotherapy and all of the horrific side effect type treatments will also become a thing of the past as well. We'll move on to maybe gene therapy. I know this isn't particularly addiction recovery support, but it is a safe space. My brother is claustrophobic. Packed trains, HK. Yeah, actually, I can feel that. I'm okay, but I think sometimes you have to think, I'll just keep myself a little bit calm here, because if you really can't get out or you're stuck there, the London Underground in rush hour is just ridiculous. And I'm sure it's the same in other countries as well. You see some of the Japan trains and stuff, which are just absolutely, just everybody squashed in. Really crazy, really crazy. And claustrophobia, agoraphobia, fear of kind of open spaces. I think that's more of much more of a debilitating thing. It's almost like the feeling that you can't get out or you have to get back in, if you see what I mean. Though Kent was saying that he could go out as long as he knew that within a minute he could be back inside if he wanted. So it was a distance thing, that he just needed to be able to get back, and if he knew that he couldn't get back, that would make him more agoraphobic. Claustrophobic is okay in small doses, but if you're really stuck, yeah, I can imagine that would be awful. Synths over dentistry, worst teeth ever. Well, until a few years ago, the UK, all dentistry was on the National Health and free, but it's one of those areas of medicine that's kind of just gone private surreptitiously. So whilst you can get treated on the NHS, it's quite hard, I think, sometimes to find a dentist that will treat you for free on the NHS now. It's becoming much more common that you have to pay for your dentistry, particularly if you've got problems, if you've got crowns, or if you've got, big issues, if you like, rather than just a basic checkup. Then it's really expensive, which comes hard to us Brits, really. because we're not used to paying for medical treatment. Bob Van Hoof's 15 years of not seeing a dentist. There's only one wisdom tooth with a hole in it. Seriously, that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. You must be, well, I guess a good brusher. Maybe not a sweet tooth. That's really, really good. Nothing from Ollie at the moment. We'll keep it open for a little bit just to see what's going. It's quite nice having a little chat. That is amazing. That you do see better dentist treatments available. Like Amazon sell this thing which is like a high pressure water jet for about 15 quid. It's a bit like the water jet they use at the hygienist, and you can put it in your mouth. I've got one of those. It's amazing. It's like flossing on steroids. It's just like, which is really cool. So again, I think that's going to kind of see better dental care rather than just brushing, I think. Half God, half beast. Heights terrify me, even imagining it sometimes. Yeah. Half God, half beast. Is that like high heights, or is that like with Sophia, it's kind of a first floor balcony, like I was saying? I can imagine looking over the edge of, I've done it off like balcony on a high roof, or sometimes those lifts. There's a lift in London with a glass floor and stuff up the side of a hotel, you know. Oof. Drill music. I don't know if that's a dentistry thing, a phobia, a taste. Yeah, you can't find it. There is one around the corner from here. I think that's kind of East Grinstead-ish. In fact, my wife is treated via NHS, and so is Lula May. I had some dentistry work done when I was about 25, which involved quite some major moving around of teeth. I used to have very sticky out teeth, and subsequently I can't get NHS treatment, but my teeth are in pretty good shape, luckily, which is great. Anything above 20 feet, yeah, as long as I'm not too close to the edge, I'm okay. But I can get that. There's that kind of rushing feeling. Oof, horrible. Good brusher and a bit of luck from Bob. Well, that is really good, to be honest. I mean, even to have your wisdom teeth, they're so far back and they're so hard to clean, wisdom teeth. It's just like, yeah, I'm amazed if you've only got one hole in there. I had my wisdom teeth out again when I was much younger. I had a general anaesthetic for that as well. Oh yes, HK saying dentists suffered over COVID too. Well, I didn't go. In fact, I'm due an appointment. My teeth took a dive over lockdown. Absolutely, I was just like, I think a lot of people didn't. It wasn't like I completely stopped doing anything, but I definitely didn't quite take as much care of myself as I was doing normally, because if you're not leaving the house every day, I might have skipped a shower every now and then, or, you know, perhaps not brush my teeth before bed once or twice, or, you know, that kind of stuff. And that can get to be a bit of a pattern. Can't get away with it with a family so much as if you're living on your own, but I can absolutely see, and I'm sure, you know, dentists had to close down, and I know that they suffered. We have a really good dentist in the local village here who is amazing, but I can imagine when there's a bit more competition, especially, it must be really cool, really bad over that time. Half God, half beast. Walking over Clifton Suspension Bridge. I used to live around the corner from there. I presume that's the one you want. Clifton Suspension Bridge is amazing, and I know exactly what you mean. I mean, it's very, very high. Just pull up a picture of it. It's just an amazing thing. Here we go. It's in Bristol, which is where Ollie is. It's a very small place. There's lots of Bristol, which is on the west coast of the UK, sort of southwest. If you think of the UK, that shape is just down here. And yeah, Ollie's from there. Mark Gardner's from Bristol. There's quite a big Bristol contingent. Let me just see if I can share my screen. And I did my A-levels there, which are the exams in the UK you do when you're 17, 18, like after school if you stay on before university. There we go. So that should be, if I get this right. Thank you, Cookie Law. Not a great picture of it. That's kind of a good picture. Was it Sir Christopher Wren? Oh no, Isambard Kingdom Brunel, who built steam trains, very famous for building steam trains, built this bridge, and it's a suspension bridge because it's got two towers, one at each end, and it's sort of suspended by this bit that runs over the top. Let me find a better picture because that's not great. But as you can probably see, if you're standing on it, you're pretty high up. See if I can get this picture up. Oh man, so many adverts. Don't even have to pay now to see the picture. Man, what is the world coming from? I get intrusive thoughts on how easy it would be to go mad and jump off. I know that feeling. I'm trying to find a decent picture of it. It's driving me mad. Okay, let's just grab this. I mean, it really is an amazing bridge. I'm sure compared to some of the bridges in the US and all those kind of things, it pales, I'm sure. But yeah, so they got these things. They paint it all year round. These things in the middle are the painting things that go backwards and forwards. And when they get to one end, they start painting it from the other end again. And people do jump off. It's really not a good idea to jump off because it's mud at the bottom. It's not usually a successful way of if you really want to finish things that way. It's not good. But yeah, it's been there for a long time. It was built by, as I say, Isambard Kingdom Brunel, and it really is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I used to live literally just back round the corner from it, within walking distance. So if there's a picture, this picture. Let me see if I can zoom in. It's even quite a posh bit of Bristol because my grandparents lived there. If you see these houses here, where if you can see where my mouse is, I don't think I can draw on the screen here, but at the top here on the top right, we can see my mouse moving around. That's the start of a crescent that goes round to the right, and I used to live about halfway up that crescent in a flat with my grandparents, and literally you could walk around the corner, and then it looks quite far there, but it's not. It's literally just around the corner. So yes, I can see that. I have walked across it, and I didn't like looking over the edge, but it wasn't like a super phobia. In case you've just joined us, we are kind of probably about to give up waiting for Ollie because his broadband has failed. That's my item. Let me come back to me for a second and just see what he's saying in Facebook. It was a cable. Now I got to find where the break is. My gosh. He said it was the bloody STI style cable, just failed the continuity test, or find a spare. Mind you, he may make it. This is worth carrying on, just as long as you're happy with my kind of chill out chat. Where were we? So dentists were suffering over COVID. We went to the suspension bridge. Danker Place. I'm getting out of bed for this one. Well, I wouldn't get out of bed too quickly, Danker. I really appreciate that you are getting out of bed, but this may not be a long one. Grey One FPV is in Bristol as well. Amazing. And Half God's he's Western Supermare. Often called Weston-super-Mare by people who live there as well. It has a beach in Weston-super-Mare, and a sea, obviously, with the beach that goes out for miles, literally miles and miles and miles. And what's left is sand, and then quite a lot of muddy sand. So it's kind of Weston-super-Mare. 800 feet high. I didn't know it was 800 feet high. That's the suspension bridge. Does anyone know of 2 police persons being killed in Australia by a former teacher and his wife ambushed? No, I don't know about that. I'm sure we'll hear about it. Clifton Village, yeah, exactly. I mean, this was years and years ago. This is the area in Bristol I was, which was a very posh kind of area, and still is, I think. And I slept in the lounge, actually, at my grandparents' house, whilst I went to Bristol Tech College, which was called Brunel College, named after Brunel, who designed the bridge. And I did my A-levels in maths, physics and chemistry for 2 years. And then as soon as I finished those, I dashed off to London to try and be a pop star. And that's what kicked it all off. Weston-super Nightmare. Weston-super-Mare is like, I guess, a typical British seaside resort, which is somewhere that Brits would go on holiday to, and you probably wouldn't come to if you were on holiday, travelling from abroad on holiday to Britain. There's a few of those around. They tend to be fairly quaint, British sort of seaside holiday towns. Still quite posh and bohemian. Well, it doesn't sound too bad. There used to be a shop there called Focus, which was like a big shop of shops, if you like. I think if you were a clothes designer or they had a record store in there, you could rent a space within the shop. It's quite big, sprawling kind of place with lots of little shops inside it. It had a really good record store in the basement. I bought my first kind of vinyl from down there. I also answered an ad for a keyboard player in a band that eventually led me through to playing in London. Boy George and all the rest of it. The guitarist in that band introduced me to the people that got me into London, so that was kind of cool. Oh, the bridge was built after Brunel died based on his design, though. I didn't know that. My word. Okay. Ollie's saying tomorrow's 100% on if we can do it. So we're at 9:30 monologue. What say you, chat? We can chat about stuff for another half an hour. There will be another smash then with Ollie talking probably, well, less phobic, I imagine, because I think his injections are going to be tomorrow, so he'll be relieved. We can talk about relief. Is that next to Redland train station? Is what next to Redland train station? The Brunel Tech? Possibly. I used to drive there in my Ford Escort. Kent is on now. Okay, stand by. We can do a Kent raid. Hold on 1 second. Hold on just 1 minute. Let's see what we can do. 20 people are watching Kent, the shopping centre. Okay.
I was 21. I was actually approached and asked. And I just laughed. I said, have you seen him?
Okay, so there's Kent. He's live now.
No, bye.
What we'll do, I'll just mute that just for a second.
No, that's in the days before that.
Oh,
actually,
right. I'll run up another video now with her coming shortly for tomorrow, 9 o'clock, so that we can do a smash tomorrow with Ollie, 9 o'clock. And if you wouldn't mind coming back at that stage, I've got a nice group of people watching already. So rather than just monologue my way through the whole evening, we can pop over and have a listen to Kent. And I'm sure most of you know Kent Spong, who is amazing, wonderful man. And he's kind of ad hoc YouTube channel, but I will give you a URL here. There's a link to it. Tell him you came from Smashed, and hopefully I'll see you all here again tomorrow. It's lovely. I'm sorry we couldn't do it. Sorry for the technology on Ollie's behalf, but it does give us another excuse to do it again tomorrow. So tell your friends, and I'll see you over at Kent's in a minute. Okay, take it easy. Bye for now. I'll leave it up just for a moment whilst we're waiting. Thank you, HK. See you tomorrow, guys.